Hola amigos, welcome or welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Emma Bennet and I am a UK based author of kissing books, children's picture books and non-fiction for writers. Usually my content on my channel is quite writery based, but once a month I do a roundup of everything that I've read in the previous month, and that's what this is for November. So in November, I was taking part in National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, which it took it out of me. It really did. I did not have an easy time of it this year at all. And it did mean that I didn't read as many books as usual, I thought. However, thanks to the wonder of audiobooks, it does bring my total up a bit. So with physical books, I only read 3 books this month, which is really low for me, especially as 2 of them are graphic novels. But then I had a couple of audiobooks and 3 ebooks. So I got Kindle Unlimited, like a free kind of trial thing for a few months. And what I was planning to do was to try to work my way through some of my friends' books. I've been doing that for the last couple of months and it has been so fun. So yeah, there were a few of those here as well. So if we start with the physical books, the first one is Agatha, The Real Life of Agatha Christie. It's by Anne Martinetti, apparently. I'm guessing that that's the main... Oh, there are 3 authors. I can't pronounce the second one. Something Lebeau and Alexandra Frank. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I do like a graphic novel and I do really love Agatha Christie. I love her books, but I also really love learning about her as a person, and I've read her 2 biographies, which I really liked, and I want to get hold of the Lucy Walsley, I think her name is. She's written another biography of Agatha Christie, which actually I should add to my Christmas list, come to think of it. Anyway, so honestly, I didn't love this. The drawings kind of reminded me a little bit of like Tintin or something like that, which is why it doesn't surprise me that the names are French, the people who wrote this, although it is in English. I read it in English, so I don't know what's going on there. Anyway, it was okay. It kind of jumps around quite a bit time-wise, which could be a little bit confusing if you don't know her life all that well. And also, according to this, her second husband cheated on her. And I'm traumatized because I always thought they had such a lovely marriage and she used to go on digs with him and she became quite the expert in archaeology herself. And I just thought that that was so lovely after her first husband was just such a pig, that she had this lovely second husband and apparently he cheated on her as well. So I'm deeply distressed about this book. But yeah, I do love graphic novels. I do love anything Agatha Christie. The second graphic novel was a retelling of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, obviously based on the Stevenson book. It's a graphic novel. I really liked the illustrations in this. I thought they were really cool, very dark, very fitting to the book's plot. I have read Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but many moons ago, so I was a little bit hazy on the plot, but I think it does a good job as far as I'm aware of kind of staying true to the original novel, and it was a fun read. You know, it doesn't take very long to read these books at all, does it? But yeah, it was good. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I would recommend it if you enjoy graphic novels and kind of gothic-y, horror-y kind of things. Would it be a gothic horror? No, it wouldn't, because it's like Victorian. I don't know, some kind of horror thing. Should we call it classic horror? I don't know. I'm not a horror expert, you might be able to tell. Anyway, then the third physical book that I read was A Court of Frost and Starlight by Sarah J. Maas. So this is like, is it book 4 in the Court of Thorns and Roses series? I feel it's book 4. Yes. I'm right. Clever. No, I'm not. Counting's hard. Okay, 1, 2. Yeah, I'm right. 4. There we go. So this is obviously, if you know the series, this is much smaller than the rest of the series. I enjoyed it because I do love the characters. I completely love Feyre. I love Rhysand. They're amazing. Great. Love the romance in it, totally hot. The story's great. This, however, it's kind of like a little bit of an interlude. So at the end of the previous book, don't worry, I'm not going to give away spoilers, A Court of Wings and Ruin. Basically, there was like a whole lot of stuff, and this is them kind of coming together and regrouping and getting together for kind of the Night Court's version of Christmas, the winter solstice. So not that much actually goes on. I mean, there is some stuff with kind of the relationships between the characters, which is quite interesting, especially between Feyre and her sisters. But really, I don't think that you would particularly need to read this in order to carry on with the series, because the other books in the series are kind of so exciting and so thrill-a-minute in a lot of ways. It was fine. Like, I enjoyed it. I'm glad that I read it because it's the characters and it's part of the series, but it definitely didn't keep me gripped the way the other ones did. Okay, next I have a list. People, because I'm a professional. Okay, so next, the books that I listen to on audio book. So I have BorrowBox, which is an app for libraries in the UK, and it means that I can borrow ebooks and audiobooks for free on there, which is really, really cool. I don't read ebooks typically. This is kind of unusual that I am this month, but I can get them from there as well if I want. Anyway, so audiobooks, the first one was called Cozy, and it was by Isabel Gillies. It's The Art of Arranging Yourself in the World. This was a really, really sweet book. It was kind of, it's sort of part memoir, part guide to just, making yourself comfortable, making you and your family and your friends feel cozy. And it was nice. It was lovely to listen to while I was cooking and stuff. So yeah, I'd recommend it if you're into that kind of non-fiction. The other thing that I would say is that audiobooks that I listen to do tend to be non-fiction, purely because I find it really hard to focus on fiction when I'm listening. It's much easier for me to listen to non-fiction. And then the second book was How to Write Fiction Without the Fuss by Lucy McCaraher. So I like this. It had a lot of information in. I think it would be a great gift for a new writer who's maybe working on their first book. I didn't really like the narrator, I'm afraid. It didn't stop me from listening to the book. I did listen to the whole thing, but you know what it's like if you're listening to an audiobook and the narrator for some reason just doesn't quite fit with it. I don't know, it was just a little bit off. I did really like the little grammar section in it. It did seem a little random. I mean, I appreciate that writing and grammar do go together, but when you're talking about kind of, sorry, that's Paris moving underneath you. Moving, are you? Great, now my feet are going to be cold. Fantastic. When you're kind of writing a book about creative writing and about publishing, there's not necessarily a section about grammar and useful grammar tips, but there was, and I like that because I am a little bit of a grammar nerd. So yeah, that was really cool, and I would also recommend that one. So then on to the ebooks. The first one actually is The Dryad's Crown by David Hopkins, and I started reading this as an ebook, and then I actually continued it to finish it as an audiobook. So what happened was I was reading this book for the Tuber Book Club, which is on the channel Books by Adrian, and I will make sure that I leave a link to that down in the description below. And it's a pretty big book. It's a fantasy book, and I was just struggling to get through it in time before we needed to record. It's actually a live show before we needed to do the live show, and so I used the audiobook to kind of finish it up, and that kind of worked okay because I already knew the characters really well. I was kind of more than 3/4 of the way through the story, so that worked fine, and it was kind of useful to have the audiobook in that instance. So if you want to know more about that book, then check out the discussions, which, as I said, I will link below. But it was really, really great. It was a good fantasy story. I really liked the whole feel of it. I really liked the main character in particular, and the fight scenes were immense. So definitely check out those discussions. Next was Falling Through, which is a young adult book by the author tuber Ben Pick. His channel is Running to Write, and I'll make sure that I leave that linked as well. So basically they're these teenagers who have superpowers, and it's really, really cool. And I don't want to give too much away because it's just really, really cool. Very original. I really didn't know what was going to happen. It wasn't one of those books that you're like, yeah, like it's good, it's well written, but I completely know what's going to happen. No, it felt original. I was completely drawn into the story. The protagonists were great because they were very real. They were a little bit morally grey, kind of annoying at times. They annoyed each other, and I just really liked it. So that's the first in Ben's series. Make sure you go and check it out. And then the final book for this month was called The Inn of Hopes and Dreams, and that's by another author tuber, Andrea Severson. I'll make sure that I link her channel down below as well. This was really, really lovely. It's a small town romance, so it's about a city girl whose grandmother dies, leaving her this bookshop in this gorgeous town kind of in the middle of nowhere, and the deal is that she needs to run the bookshop for a little while in order for her to kind of inherit it, but it turns out that there's quite a lot of financial problems that she has to deal with, and then there's also a very handsome man who happens to be running the coffee shop next door, and it was just lovely. It was just cozy and sweet and exactly what I was in the mood for the time, and I really, really love Andrea's videos, so it was fantastic to get to read one of her books, and there are more books set in that town as well, so I will make sure that I check those out as well. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you also had a really good reading month, and if you've got any recommendations, then please make sure that you link them down in the comments below so that I can check them out. That would be really, really great. Yeah, I'm going to go now. I'm hungry. I'm going to go and make myself some food and just generally get on with things. But please make sure that you've booped that like button if you have enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you're not already, because we have so much fun over here, and I will catch you in the next one.